Your baby will not remember this. That is the thing people say. That is the thing you might have said yourself, or thought, or been told by someone who meant well. They won't remember the first year. They won't remember the way you held them. They won't remember whether you came when they cried, or left them to cry it out. They won't remember any of it. So it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Here is what the science actually says. They won't remember it the way you remember things, not as a narrative, not as a story they can tell. The hippocampus, the brain structure responsible for the kind of explicit, conscious memory that lets you recall specific events, is not mature enough in the first years of life to form those kinds of memories. This is real. This is why you don't remember being 2 years old. But memory is not one thing. It is several things. And the kind of memory that forms in the first years of life, the kind that does not require a mature hippocampus, the kind that is laid down in the body and the nervous system and the deep structures of the brain, is not only real, it is the foundation everything else gets built on. Developmental psychologists call it implicit memory, procedural memory, emotional memory. The memory that is not recalled, but felt. The memory that lives not in what you remember, but in who you are, how you respond to stress, whether you trust people, how your body feels when someone gets close to you, what your nervous system does when the world gets hard. That memory is being formed right now, in the ordinary moments of your ordinary days. And here are 10 of those moments. 10 things you do every day, or do without knowing what they are building, that will live in your baby's nervous system for the rest of their life. 1. The way you pick them up. Not whether you pick them up, how. Your baby's nervous system reads the quality of physical contact with extraordinary precision. The tension in your hands, the speed of the movement, whether there is confidence in the hold or anxiety, whether the handling communicates, "you are safe with me," or something more uncertain. Research on the quality of early physical handling has found that infants show distinct physiological responses, heart rate, cortisol, muscle tone, that correspond to the quality of the caregiver's handling, rather than simply the presence of contact. A baby picked up with calm, confident hands responds differently than a baby picked up with rushed or tense hands, even if the duration of contact is identical. What this means is that the 10,000 times you pick your baby up in the first year of life are 10,000 deposits into an implicit memory of what it feels like to be handled by another person, what it feels like to be held, whether being held means safety or whether it means something more unpredictable. There is a line I wrote about this in my ebook, They Can't Say It Yet, that says it exactly right. Your baby is not a passive recipient of care. They are an active, evaluating, learning, feeling person, one whose inner world is far more complex, far more emotionally rich, and far more perceptive than most adults realize. That is what this entire video is about, that inner world. And if you want the full picture of what is happening inside it, every behavior decoded, the attachment science, the emotional patterns that form right now in these first years, I put it all in one book, 14 chapters. It is called They Can't Say It Yet, and the link is in the description. Now back to the list. You are building your baby's body memory of human contact right now, every single time. Pick them up slowly, with hands that say, "I have you, you are safe, there is no rush." 2. Whether you come when they cry, and how long it takes. You cannot spoil a baby under 12 months by responding to their cries. This is one of the most thoroughly established findings in developmental science, and it matters for reasons that go far beyond the immediate comfort of the moment. When a baby cries and a caregiver responds, consistently, warmly, without significant delay, something is deposited in the developing nervous system. Not a memory in the narrative sense, a biological expectation. The expectation that distress is temporary, that reaching out works, that the world contains people who respond when you signal need. Harvard Center on the Developing Child calls this serve and return, the back and forth of infant signal and caregiver response that builds the neural architecture of emotional regulation. Each exchange is a brick. Each consistent response is a brick. And the structure being built from those bricks is the capacity to regulate emotion, to form relationships, to handle stress. Capacities that will define your child's experience of life for decades. Conversely, when cries consistently go unanswered, not occasionally, not imperfectly, but consistently, something different is deposited. The brain begins to down-regulate the signaling systems that are producing distress calls, because those systems are consuming energy for no return. The baby doesn't stop feeling. They stop expecting to be heard. And that expectation, laid down in the implicit memory of the first year, shapes how they reach out to other people for the rest of their life. Come to the cry, not with panic, not with the pressure to fix it instantly, with the calm, consistent presence that says, I heard you, I am here. That is enough. 3. The face you make when you look at them. Your baby is studying your face, not glancing at it, studying it, with the total, unblinking attention that infants bring to the task of reading the most important object in their world. They are updating the neural map of you, reading your emotional state as information about the safety of everything around them. What they are looking for, specifically, is a face that is glad to see them, not performing gladness, not producing a smile because that is what you are supposed to do when you look at your baby. Actually glad. The face that changes when they come into the room, the micro-expressions that happen before you have decided to have an expression, the warmth in the eyes that is not managed, but genuine. Research on what developmental psychologist Daniel Stern called attunement found that the quality of the caregiver's emotional responsiveness in face-to-face interaction was one of the strongest predictors of infant emotional development. Specifically, whether the baby's emotional bids were met with a face that reflected back something that matched, or exceeded in warmth, what the baby offered. The face you make when you look at your baby is building a sense of self. The specific, embodied belief, not thought but felt, that they are the kind of person whose presence produces joy in others, that showing up in a room adds something, that they are wanted. Let the face be real. Let the gladness show before you decide to show it. That unguarded half-second before the managed smile is the one that goes straight in. 4. Whether you stay or leave when things get hard. Your baby has one question they are working on more than any other in the first years of life. It sounds like this. When I am at my worst, do the people who love me stay? Every moment of distress, every cry, every protest, every moment of overwhelm that a baby cannot manage alone is an experiment. The dependent variable is you. Do you come? Do you stay? Do you receive the difficulty, or does the difficulty make you withdraw? The answer your baby receives to this question, deposited across thousands of experiments in the first years of life, becomes the foundation of what researchers call felt security. The embodied, non-verbal, nervous system level expectation of what happens when you fall apart. Whether falling apart is safe, whether being difficult ends connection or survives it. Research from the Minnesota Longitudinal Study of Risk and Adaptation, one of the longest-running developmental studies ever conducted, found that felt security in infancy predicted relationship quality, mental health, resilience under stress, and academic achievement decades later. The effect size was larger than almost any other variable measured. What built felt security was not the absence of hard moments, it was the presence of repair. The parent who got it wrong and came back, who lost their patience and returned with warmth, who stayed in the relationship even when the moment was hard. The staying, across thousands of hard moments, is what gets remembered. Not in words, in the body. In the specific way an adult either reaches toward people or pulls away from them when things get difficult. 5. The sound of your voice in ordinary moments. Not what you say, how you say it. Your baby has been listening to your voice since the 25th week of gestation. The prosody of your speech, the rhythm, the pitch, the emotional signature carried in the sound before any semantic content is available, is one of the oldest forms of information their brain processes. They are experts in your voice. They can read its emotional content with a speed and accuracy that no adult can match. The ongoing soundtrack of your daily life, the tone you carry through the house, the quality of your voice in ordinary conversations, the emotional register of how you speak when nothing in particular is happening, is information that your baby is constantly processing and filing. Research from the University of Oregon on the effects of background emotional speech found that even sleeping infants showed detectable stress responses to nearby speech with angry or distressed tonal content. The words were irrelevant. The emotional signature of the sound was the mechanism. Your voice in the everyday moments, unhurried, warm, narrating the world in a tone that says, everything is fine and you are here, is building something in their implicit memory of what the world sounds like, whether it sounds safe. Talk to them. Narrate. The words are almost irrelevant. The tone is everything. 6. What you do with your phone when you are with them. This one is the hardest to hear, because the phone is always there, because the demands on it are real. But here is what the research shows. A study published in Child Development found that even brief, frequent interruptions in parental attention, looking at a phone for 30 seconds during play, were enough to measurably disrupt the serve and return process that is the primary mechanism of early brain development. Not long absences, 30-second interruptions, repeated throughout the day. The mechanism is this. Your baby's brain develops primarily through contingent interaction, responses that happen in direct, real-time reaction to what the baby just did. The loop of signal and response, completed thousands of times a day, is how neural architecture is built. When your attention is divided, the loop is incomplete. The signal goes out, the response is delayed or distracted. The loop doesn't close. 30 minutes of complete presence is worth more than 3 hours of partial presence, every single time. Put it down. For the 20 minutes you are on the floor with them, the texts will still be there. This moment will not. 7. Whether you follow their attention or redirect it. When your baby is intensely focused on something, a shadow on the wall, the movement of your hands, an object they have been examining for longer than seems interesting, what do? Most parents redirect. They offer something else, something more obviously stimulating. They assume that what the baby is looking at cannot be as interesting as it appears, and they try to improve on it. Research on joint attention, the practice of sharing focus on the same object or experience as the baby, consistently shows that following the baby's attentional lead produces stronger language development, stronger social cognition, and stronger neural development in the regions associated with executive function than parent-directed interaction. When you follow your baby's attention, you communicate something direct and powerful. What you find interesting is worth my interest. Your curiosity matters. What you notice, I notice too. That communication, deposited across thousands of interactions, builds a child who trusts their own perception, who believes that what they find interesting has value. Follow their gaze. Look at what they are looking at. Be interested in what is interesting to them. That is how you build a child who trusts themselves. 8. How you handle their emotions, the ones that are inconvenient. Your toddler falls and cries. Your baby is distressed about something that seems completely trivial, and you say something, in your voice or in your face or in the quality of how you are holding them, that communicates, "This is too much. I need you to stop feeling this." These moments happen to every parent. The question is not whether they happen. The question is what the accumulated pattern of them deposits into your baby's implicit memory of what it means to have an emotion. Research on what John Gottman called emotion coaching, acknowledging, naming, and sitting with a child's difficult emotions rather than redirecting or dismissing them, found that emotion-coached children showed stronger emotional regulation, better physical health, higher academic achievement, and stronger friendships by age 8, compared to children whose emotions were consistently minimized. The implicit memory being built in these moments is not about the specific emotion that was dismissed. It is about emotions in general, about whether having strong feelings is safe, about whether the people who love you can handle the full version of you. Let them be not okay. Let the cry happen before the reassurance. That 30-second pause, receiving the emotion rather than managing it, is teaching something no educational content can teach, that feelings are survivable, that having them is okay. 9. The repairs you make after the hard moments. You will lose your patience. You will respond with less warmth than you intended. You will have moments where you communicate something you would not choose to communicate if you were thinking clearly. These moments are not what shape your baby's development. What shapes it is what you do next. Ed Tronick found that the most attuned parents are in genuine synchrony with their babies only about 30% of the time. The other 70% involves misattunement, missed signals, and disconnection. What distinguished secure attachment outcomes from insecure ones was the repair, the return to connection after the rupture. When you come back after a hard moment, gentler hands, warmer eye contact, a voice that says, "I am here, we are okay." You are teaching your baby that relationships survive difficulty, that the person who hurt you comes back, that love is not conditional on everything going well. The child who learns this becomes an adult who can sustain relationships through difficulty, who knows that conflict is not the end, who can stay when things are hard because they know, at a level beneath thought, that people come back. Make the repair, every time. 10. Whether you enjoy them. This is the last one, and it is the simplest. and it is the one most easily lost in the genuine exhaustion of caring for a baby. Not whether you love them, of course you love them, but whether you enjoy them. Whether your baby, in the ordinary daily moments of being near you, experiences the specific thing of being found delightful by another person. Reason on the felt sense of being enjoyed, the experience of having your presence produce visible pleasure in another person, shows that this is one of the most powerful inputs into early self-concept development. The baby who is enjoyed by their parent builds something specific, the implicit belief that their presence is a good thing, that showing up in a room adds something, that being who they are is welcome. This is not built in the grand moments. It is built in the spontaneous laugh when they do something funny, the "oh, look at you" that comes out before you decide to say it. The moment you put everything down because what they were doing was actually interesting to you. The specific face you make, the one that arrives before you decide to have an expression when they come into the room. That face, that laugh, that moment of genuine delight in who this specific baby is. It is being filed. In the implicit memory that does not require a mature hippocampus. In the slowly forming sense of self that will shape how your child moves through every relationship, every challenge, every moment when the world asks them whether they deserve to be here. They deserve to be here. Let them feel that. In your face, in your laugh, in the ordinary moments that feel small and are not small at all. 10 things. None of them require money. None of them require a different version of yourself than the one you already are. They require presence, the specific, repeated, ordinary presence of a person who shows up, who comes when they are called, who stays when things are hard, who makes the repair after the hard moments, who follows the gaze and receives the emotion and picks up with calm hands and makes the face that means you are glad they are here. Your baby will not remember this in the way that you remember things. They will not tell the story of these ordinary days, but they will carry them. In the way they reach toward people or pull away from them, in the way their body feels when someone gets close, in the specific, wordless expectation of what the world is like and whether it can be trusted. You are writing that expectation right now, in the ordinary moments, in the 10 things on this list that you do every single day without knowing what you are building. Now you know. Subscribe to Mindful Parenting. We'll be here every week.